Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, December 21st, 2017. I'm Keith Tebow. Tonight we have an update on the King Philip Mill construction project, information about a local property sale expected to have a positive impact on the greater Fall River economy, and also a rundown of another holiday event happening in the city. But first, let's talk about the news headlines of the week. Let's bring in Will Richmond, the digital news editor at the Herald News. Will, how are you?
I'm good, Keith. How are you doing?
Good. As we wrap up the year, there's still a lot going on within the city. Let's start in City Council chambers this week. The Alfred J. Lima Rail Trail was a topic of discussion again, particularly the easement that was issued by the council earlier this year to build a road that would cross over the rail trail onto Brayton Avenue by the owners of the Clover Leaf Mill. City Council earlier this fall voted to ask the mayor to go to court and overturn that easement. The mayor vetoed that resolution, and the City Council this week voted to override that veto. So what happens next?
Well, at this point, we're not sure. Corporation Counsel Joe Macy told the council that he wouldn't expect to follow through on the override at this time, that he doesn't believe that taking it to court is appropriate at the moment. So while there weren't any specific reasons for why that was said, to my knowledge, it could be that there's some, sort of backroom discussions going on between the city and the property owner in regards to that easement, or the mayor's administration is just saying, you're gonna have to take our word on this, and the road won't be built. So what happens next is sort of unknown, but I think there are some councilors that are very unhappy with the way that this is being handled on the administration end.
The final vote to override the veto was, I believe, 7-1, with City Councilor Stephen Camara voting not to override the veto. Any idea why he voted no there?
His vote raised questions for myself as well. I'm not really sure why. As someone who has fought to sort of been at the front of the fight to have the easement removed and to keep the road off the rail trail, it did seem kind of odd that he was one to vote against the override as well.
All right, so again, we'll have to follow along. Again, right now, the administration is basically saying, put faith in the company and not building the road, but City Council wants some firmer action, and right now they're at a standstill. Elsewhere in the City Council this week, there was some concerns in an article in the paper earlier this week about the mayor's contention for 2018 to rid the city of the pay-as-you-throw purple bag program, and how the city will make up for some $2 million that the program provides in revenue for the city. A couple of city councilors were concerned about how that would come forth. Fill us in.
Yeah, so the council, one of the council committees wanted to take a look at what could happen if the program is repealed. Their concerns being that there'd be about $2 million in revenue that the city currently collects through the pay-as-you-throw program that would be taken off the books. And they have their concerns as the city could be going to vote on the building of a new Durfee High School pretty soon. The passage this past year of the work for the wastewater treatment plant and city sewer system. And so as the city has these other expenses, they're voicing concern that revenue lost could become a problem down the road if it can't be properly replaced in some manner. And
also the potential of the beginning of the process to build a new BMC Durfee High School, which would be likely before voters coming up in late winter or early spring. The mayor, again, during the campaign, vowed to get rid of the purple bag program. Any news on when he'd like to do that? Are we looking at possibly next fiscal year to go through this fiscal year the way it is now, and then in July have it overturned?
I'm not sure if there's a firm timeline on it. I think there may be some tie-ins with, the city is trying to establish its own recycling transfer center, and that's been mentioned as one of the methods to offset the loss in revenue. So there may be a tie-in in making sure that that is up and running, it's properly permitted, and it's becoming a revenue generator for the city in order to then shed the revenue that's collected through pay-as-you-throw.
And those of you who are watching have not heard the news from about a week or two ago, City Council this week voted to implement a moratorium, if you will, on the use of the purple bags. Next week, the week between Christmas and New Year's, you do not have to use the purple bags. You've got a moratorium during the week of the 25th through the 1st. So next week's trash collection, you do not need to use the purple bags. It is traditionally, of course, a heavy trash week with the holiday and people throwing out a lot of trash affiliated with that holiday. But I believe, Will, this is the second year in a row that the City Council has voted this, correct?
It might be the first year that
okay, I
they've
thought it
done
was
this.
last year
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, so next week, don't need the purple bags as we look forward to the beginning of 2018. A couple of other stories to touch upon this week, Will. We teased at the beginning of the program an update on the King Philip Mill complex and what will happen there. For many years, there's been talk about what will be done with the old police station on Bedford Street. And it looks like the city's coming to the realization that instead of selling the property as is, it may need to demolish the project. That looks like that may be the next step. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the city indicated through Administrator Kathy Ann Viveris that they're now considering demolishing it. A prospective developer that was looking at the site, I guess, has decided it's not a fit for them. So they're moving towards demolishing it in what seems to be classic Fall River. Councilors are asking that they give one more shot at trying to sell it. This is the property that never ends kind of situation.
Right.
As it's been sold in the past, it's been taken back in tax title. They've talked about demolishing it. They've talked about selling it, and now is this? The city says sell. The city says demolish. The councilors say sell, and the councilors say demolish. The city says sell. So who knows if this property will ever get back on the tax rolls in any time in the near future.
Yeah, and there's obviously quite a few issues with the property. Property's fenced off, especially when you go up High Street. That it's fenced off there. So because there's been issues with bricks falling, and it's unsafe for people to walk, and there's other environmental hazards in that building. So maybe a good idea to finally have it demolished and have someone who would want to build something from scratch in that location. Finally, Will, there was a news story. I guess there have been some rumors floating about the Superintendent of Schools here in the city of Fall River, Matt Malone, only been on the job for 2 years. There is a position open on the state level for a new commissioner of elementary and secondary education. For those of you who may remember, Matt Malone was originally the Secretary of Education under Deval Patrick, but there were some rumors that possibly Mr. Malone would have applied for that commissioner position, but he came out steadfast this week to say that's not the case.
Yeah, so certainly the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education had their deadline for applications this week, and there had been some talk we were hearing on our end that Malone would be interested in that position. As you mentioned, he's held a state level role on it for education in the past, so he's got a lot of experience with urban education beyond his current role in Fall River. So, it certainly seemed he had some of the qualifications that may have fit. But as we checked in with him this week, he said absolutely not. As you mentioned, he will not be applying, and he expects to stay in Fall River for the time being.
All right, so we'll have to, again, follow that as we go forward. All right, Will, what's coming up over the weekend?
Sure, we kind of kick into our year in review aspect. We'll be taking a look at the top stories this weekend and some of the top items from the past year throughout the following week.
All right, well, we appreciate your time. You are off next week. We're giving you the week off, as we'll also be providing a special program next week looking at the year in news in Fall River 2017. So, Will, have a great holiday, Happy New Year, and we'll see you in January.
All right, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you guys, and we'll see you in 2018.
Sounds great. We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Latest hot jobs list from the Fall River Career Center. Campus Police Officer. Bristol Community College, located at 777 Ellsbury Street, has an immediate need for a part-time campus police officer to ensure and maintain a secure campus environment and provide protection and security of person, facilities, and property. Job number 1003-2991. Preschool teacher. Citizens for Citizens Incorporated, located at 427 Robeson Street, is looking for a full-time preschool teacher with excellent communication and computer skills to prepare materials and supplies for daily program activities. Job number 1003-2837. Physician. Team Health, a primary care geriatrics practice, is looking for a full-time physician to join their team, serving patients in multiple skilled nursing facilities in the Fall River area. Job number 1003-3211. South Coast Health System, located at 363 Highland Avenue, is looking to fulfill the following full-time positions. Cook, job number 1003-2930. Certified Medical Assistant, job number 1003-2948. Cool Smiles, located at 533 Pleasant Street, is looking to fulfill the following full-time positions. Dental Anesthesiologist, job number 1003-3209. Dental Assistant, job number 1003-3243. For more information on these or other positions, visit FRCmedianews.org or call the Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Happy holidays from the Fall River Fire Museum.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays for People Incorporated.
Happy holidays.
Have a happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, Fall River. This is Joey DeSilva, other name the Hobo on the Polar Express from the Fall River House and Authorities Family Youth Service Department and the Boys and Girls Club, wishing everybody in Fall River a happy holiday, safe season. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays and Boys Festus.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome to Fall River. I love you guys.
Happy holidays.
We're from the Mastery School, and we want to wish you all
Merry Christmas.
happy holidays.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Christmas greetings from Henry Lord Community School. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, everybody, and God bless you.
How we doing, folks? This is Bruce Halter with the Bridal Carriage Company, wishing everybody happy holidays this year.
We are the Colonial Pipers Bagpipe Band from Norwood, Massachusetts. Happy holidays.
Happy Christmas to you.
Welcome back. Plans to transform the King Philip Mills complex on Kilburn Street into market-rate housing was stalled a few months ago. South End Neighborhood Association President and State Representative Alan Sylvia has recently expressed dissatisfaction with the bidding process delay, but tells FRC Media News he has firm plans to keep the project moving come January 2018.
We have a neighborhood meeting on January 4th, South End Neighborhood Association. The mayor is going to be our first guest speaker. The issue will be King Philip Mill. There's a strong probability we'll be going out to bid again. The city will for that location. However, there is new interest. There are a few contractors who are interested in the site, and we're moving forward. It's my hope and the mayor's hope that we continue this project in 2018, and that we finally open Cook Pond recreationally, and that a section of the northwest section of that has never been seen by the human eye. So that's exciting for everyone in our community. The public safety issue is the main issue. It was the reason why it came to the forefront. The abandoned mills, we know what happens when a mill is a fire, and the damage and the life that could be lost. So that's our main priority. It's still their main priority. We have continual fire watch at that site, and people are very vigilant about that. So they're all excited and continue to be to see that building come down in whatever way possible. It's sad in some ways because the last contractor gave us a plan where we would retain 3/4 of that main building. We're not sure if that would happen again. So, but whatever it takes to keep people safe and to get some green space and open Cook Pond recreationally will be extremely important, along with returning property back to the tax rolls and of course reducing the strain on taxpayers.
The Brayton Point power plant in nearby Somerset is about to be sold, according to Massachusetts Senator Michael Rodrigues. Although the facility is not located in Fall River proper, Rodrigues offers this information to FRCMedia News about the buyer, along with his belief that the sale will have a positive economic impact in the greater Fall River area.
Brayton Point Power Plant is in the process of being sold. Dynegy Corporation, which currently owns Brayton Point, is selling it to a large company out of St. Louis, Missouri, called Construction Demolition Corporation. They have lots of experience in taking old, heavily contaminated industrial sites, cleaning them up, and getting them ready for redevelopment. And it's very important for this region, especially since we know that this whole new industry is growing up in southeastern Mass, and that's the offshore wind industry. And thousands of jobs are going to be necessary in order to man this industry, whether it's to construct the wind turbines, whether it's to maintain the wind turbines, whether it's to manufacture components of the wind turbines. But it's going to be a whole new world, a whole new industry exploding on the scene here in Greater Fall River. And Brayton Point is an ideal location to stage many of those operations. There's over 300 acres. It has a deep water port. It has all the electric transmission infrastructure on site necessary to connect the offshore wind industry energy to the grid. So we're very excited.
Christmas is just a few days away, and volunteers have finished wrapping presents for the youngsters residing at St. Vincent's home on Highland Avenue in Fall River. The residential facility temporarily houses children and young adults for those who do not find a permanent home by Christmas. The day staff at St. Vincent's is making sure each of them will receive presents the morning of December 25th.
So what we do is we get lists from every kid in the program, and it's specific for what they want. We have donors, wonderful donors. We could never do this without our donors that call us and say, hey, give me a couple of gifts from the list. They get sent out to the donors. The donors then buy the gifts and then bring them back. And then we have other awesome donors that take a hands-on list and actually bring gifts in to help assist for kids that come in later in the program. So, because for the STAR program, we have kids coming and going all the time.
Tell us about how long the program's been in existence and why it's special for especially certain kids.
All right, so Missy and I have been doing this probably for about 15 plus years. And one of the goals we try to do is just make it as special as we can for the children. Lots of the children may have come, may have not had a lot. And so what we try to do is really get all the wishes completed. So when the children make out their wish list, we do everything and anything we can do to make sure they get everything on that list that they wished for. And then on Christmas Eve, we put the gifts under the tree, and then they wake up in the morning and their faces, it's amazing when they start opening the presents and they see the gifts that they have received. This is sometimes the first experience that some of the kids have had. So it is wonderful to see on Christmas morning.
Now, what are the ages of the recipients?
So we can go from birth to 22. Right now, our youngest is 3, and our oldest is 21 right now is our oldest, but we can go up to 22.
And what kind of gifts do they ask for? Normally speaking.
Yeah, the older kids usually ask for gift cards because they like going out and they like shopping. But the younger ones a lot of them are into Legos. Legos is a huge hit with our kids. Our little ones like the paw control this year. That was a big hit this year. Stuffed animals. A lot of our older kids want sleds. That was a big thing. Winter boots was something. With some of the little kids, I mean, you'll see they'll ask for socks and they'll ask for things maybe they haven't had. So, but they ask for all different variety of toys.
Last week, we ran a story about fire safety and Christmas trees. This week, Fall River Fire Inspector Jeff Medeiros is advising residents to be extra vigilant while cooking this holiday season.
Whether you're cooking with gas or whether you're cooking with electric, same safety principles apply. It's great to incorporate the kids into helping, cooking, but again, make sure you supervise, and if you're cooking, make sure that's one of the times you want to stay task-oriented. Don't leave, don't stop multitasking. When you're cooking, stay in the kitchen, because honestly, there are so many other things, just like in every day, but especially at the holidays, that we're doing, that if we just pay a little bit more attention, we're all going to have much happier holidays and safer holidays.
Well, I know for me, we have a computer in our kitchen, and you're right about the multitasking. Easy to just kind of wander over. So what I do, and see if you like this idea, is I will set the timer on the stove to make sure that I'm at least going back to it in 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is. Would you suggest something like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great idea. The thing about it is, though, you also want to be there to continue to monitor, because even though you set the temperature, sometimes something will stop boiling. We didn't expect it to stop boiling, and next thing you know, now it's boiling over. So if you're there and you see it starting to boil, you can always turn down either the gas or the electric and lower the temperature, instead of setting it and moving on to something else. So it really is the fact of staying in the area of the kitchen while you're cooking.
We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
There's a lot going on in Fall River this holiday season. FRC Media has a weekly rundown of some of the events taking place in the city. On Saturday, December 23rd, dinosaur fossils will come to life as a children's museum of Greater Fall River hosts a reading of Dinosaurs Night Before Christmas. The event starts at 10 a.m. and kids will be able to decorate dinosaur cookies. Admission is free to museum members, $8 for non-members, and $3 for guests with EBT cards. The Fall River Public Library has two events also on Saturday, December 23rd. At 11 a.m. and again at 3 p.m., the library will host a free showing of the movie Beauty and the Beast, an enchanted Christmas at the South End branch located at 58 Arch Street. From 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., the Fall River Chess Club is sponsoring a free chess tournament at the main library branch on 104 North Main Street. The Family Resource Center, located at 45 Rock Street, is hosting two events between Christmas and New Year's Day. On Tuesday, December 26th, from 2 to 4 p.m., the center will host a reading of the Polar Express. All children will receive a free copy of the book to take home. On Thursday, December 28th, the center will host a cookie decorating party from 1:30 to 3 p.m. Both events are free to attend. Now through December 30th, the Fall River Historical Society is hosting its annual open house, showcasing Victorian-era holiday decorations. This award-winning display is free and takes place weekdays from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. The Historical Society is located at 451 Rock Street. We hope you've enjoyed our Christmas in Fall River series. Happy holidays and best wishes for the new year.
This is Santa and Mrs. Claus, and I hope you're all been very good, because Santa just wants to bring toys to boys and girls that have been good. So make sure you're good, because everyone that's bad, that's one present Santa doesn't get to bring. And I love bringing presents, okay? So I'll see everyone on Christmas Eve. Be good.
Happy holidays! This is Bushmaster B&B Contracting Excavation. I just want to say happy holidays, and I hope my mom sees this.
Happy holidays from Fall River. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays from Tampa Middle School.
Hi, so we're here from Angels Anonymous. We just want to say happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, St. Adriana. Merry Christmas.
Shout out to Happy holidays! Happy holidays!
Happy holidays to all.
Hi everyone, I'm from the James Tansey Elementary School in Fall River. We're here with our holidays at the Zoo Float. Want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. Happy holidays! Happy holidays! Happy holidays! We're from YMTC. Happy holidays! Happy holidays!
I just want to wish everyone out there a happy Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays from Rockland Trust!
Happy holidays, everybody.
Fall River students will soon be out of school for the Christmas break. However, there's still a fun yet educational adventure they can experience at the Durfee Lafayette House in the city before they head back to classes in January. Here's more.
Our goal is to make this into a living history museum for the kids. We will dress them up in clothing. We'll have them doing colonial chores such as fetching water and carrying water with a yoke, fetching firewood, bringing firewood into the house, things of that nature, maybe cleaning some chamber pots, but not really. But anyway, we'll give them an insight on what it was like to be a child during the 18th century.
Walking to school barefoot?
No, they had shoes, but some kids were barefoot. But they were considered a workforce in the house. They were not just considered children who just played around all day. They were given chores to do at a very early age. Girls learned to crochet and sew at a very early age, approximately around 4 years old. They started to teach girls. Girls did not go to school as often as boys did. Boys were taught to be independent. Girls were taught to be dependent upon their family, because their role in colonial society would be the running of a home, getting married and raising children and running in the family.
That'll do it for this edition of FRC Media News. As a reminder, next week join us as we have a year in review looking at the news stories in Fall River in 2017. You can watch FRC Media News Thursdays and Fridays at 6 p.m. and online 24/7 at frcmedianews.org. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next week.